Good vibrations, my good people. Today we have an incredible friend, sister, creative, the one and only V.C.R. with us. V, thank you so much for joining us on Are You Being Gentle with Your Mental today to talk about your mental wellness, women's empowerment, building authentic relationships in your life as an interdisciplinary artist. How are you doing? And good vibrations.
I'm doing really well. Can you hear me?
You're good?
Perfect. Yes, I am doing so well, and I'm really grateful to be here.
I just really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. How has your week been? Has there been any highlights from this week that you can share?
Wow. Highlights from this week. I do so much that honestly, it's just been an amazing week. I found out that I had some placements on a friend's album where I'm also on that album with Georgia and Mudro, one of my favorite writers and singers and producers. And so I don't know, I'm grateful for growth.
Mm,
I'm
yeah.
grateful for growth. Yeah.
I've definitely been feeling the same, especially just this year with 2021. I feel like we planted our seeds and people just continue to pour into us. And we are pouring into ourselves, as well. So I know you've been able to put out a couple creative projects that I'm just so in love with. And not just only for music, but does your creative process, from start to finish, vary on the medium? For example, is your creative process from a song to the process of writing? How is that for you?
Man, so my creative process is extremely fluid. That's what I tell people. It's like water. I've been creating literally since I can't remember. Was my father growing up. My father was a musician, a songwriter, kind of a savant, if you will. He can play any instrument it touches. And so I would write songs with him growing up. He kind of taught me how to use my own creativity fluidly. So my creative process, honestly, is extremely intuitive. I need a process, but what has worked for me, honestly, is fluidity, and I'm so grateful for that. Um, I make sure to give myself breaks. That's a good rule of thumb for me is I make sure to give myself breaks. Um, I don't force creativity. I just let it flow. So if anything, it's I don't know, it's extremely fluid. Also, I see creativity as prayer.
Mm,
And not to get too spiritual, but one scripture my mother will always tell me is pray without ceasing. And I feel like life is a song, life is inspiration. And so I'm always taking in bits and pieces of songs, bits and pieces of lyrics, bits and pieces of inspiration that I can use towards any one of my creative projects, whether that's a song, a visual, a film,
mm,
or a book.
yes. And I know you've been able to refer yourself as a Renaissance woman. What does that mean to you?
Well, the Harlem Renaissance and the Renaissance period is a time of renewal for the arts, and my mother has always taught me about the Harlem Renaissance. In fact, I feel like I was born there in another lifetime, but I was alive during that time. And at that time, there was just so much creativity. It was just people were pushing the boundaries when it came to creative projects. And I like to do that as well. To me, a Renaissance woman is a woman that explores every aspect of her creativity and creates a lifestyle around that, such as art, literature, film, and music. And that's me. I'm your girl.
The Martian, yes, that is you. I know you speak of your mother just so beautifully, and I want to know who are the noteworthy Black women in your life that inspire you and your work.
Mm. So I come from a family of women, like aunts, a few men, but like mostly women. My father has 6 sisters. My mother has 3, and each one on the family is a Renaissance woman. Usually, like the women on my mother's side and my father's side sing. So I grew up around singing, moreover, and songwriting women, and they all inspire me.
I love that. I definitely got to keep the family. Shout out to the women of our both of our families. I know they've kept us grounded, and even the ancestors that are with us, pushing
Mhm.
us forward with the
Yeah.
arts. And I want to even know, who are your top 5 artists at the moment, musically or even otherwise?
Top 5 artists. That's so interesting because, of course, every artist is like me. My
It can be,
number, I'm old school. So some
yeah.
of these people are not alive, but Minnie Riperton
Mm,
is definitely in my top 5 just because of she was one of the first, if not experimental R&B
mm,
singers out there. And so I love Minnie, and her vocal register is so inspiring. I also love and adore Erica Badu. Everything that she's done, literally from the beginning of her career to now, her lifestyle inspires me. And as an artist, to me, it's about like who are you off and on the stage, and her lifestyle inspires me, and how she lives her life and what she projects, moreover what she projects into the world. And she's from Dallas, Texas. Another one, and I'm not doing the top 5, there's no way I can rank. It's just literally like they all are together on that, top 5. um D'Angelo,
mm,
D'Angelo is he was, you know he didn't use a blueprint or,
mm,
for his career or for his creativity. He really pushed the barrier. And for me, I'm always inspired by writers and performers that push the limit. Um, I listen to a lot of classical music, so Tchaikovsky is my favorite composer. He's one of the, I would say, most challenging composers to play. And it's just because of he really was an amazing composer. I think I said 4. My last, and everyone, do not shoot me down. Do not shoot me down. is Kanye, and I will tell you why. He's definitely has said a lot of things and done a lot of things throughout the years that no one can um, get behind. But I think creatively, he really is a person that people really admire, and he does things that no one is doing. No one is thinking of doing. And then in 10 years, everyone is doing it. Everyone is saying it. Everyone is wearing it. Everyone is singing it. And everyone like he literally is a trendsetter. And that is always, always, always what I want to be. Like I always want to be the person that is doing things that no one is doing. And then you look up and everybody is doing it. So that is me. And plus, you know, graduation, late registration literally changed my life. You know, college dropout changed my life. And I just hope he sees the light, you know, with some political things. But I try not to judge artists based off of the media and what I see. I try to judge artists based on their art. So
Yes.
I'm gonna say one honorable mention is Jessica Pratt. She is
Okay.
actually a folk American folk singer, and her art really inspires me. I've always a lot of my art is inspired by folk music, and because folk music is Black too, and I'm from Tennessee, so if you go there, you'll know that. And I love Jessica Pratt.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. How has your identity as a Black woman impacted your experience and advancing and producing in the creative professional world?
Hmm. So, as a Black woman, immediately, especially a dark skinned or brown skinned Black woman, immediately when you walk in the room, they expect one thing from you. Either they expect you to sing like Erykah Badu, or they expect you to do a certain thing. And as a violinist and a singer, they expect me to fit in a box that I literally don't fit into because I'm a nonconformist by nature. So speaking up for yourself, one, speaking up for yourself and being assertive is also seen as being difficult, you
Mm.
know. So the best thing for it is to have somebody to advocate for yourself, like a manager. But if you don't have that, you know, you're automatically labeled as, you know, a BICTH or a diva.
Mm.
That has been my experience. So just pushing through that, pushing through like the barriers of what I have to sound like, what I have to look like, what my art has to take form and become, just pushing the boundaries with that and learning about the business of music and advocating for myself in spaces has been um, one of my challenges.
Yeah. I definitely believe in being your best advocate, like you having to speak up for yourself in all spaces, even if you do have somebody managing you, to always know your voice and know yourself and your worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, when it really comes to your music and art, just even it becoming more of a hobby or an interest, did you always know that you'd be on this path you are now, in terms of your creative career?
No, ma'am. I knew that I was going to always immerse myself in music because music is my first love. I always knew that. So, but I was always shy, you know, always shy. So I went to school to literally to be a music manager because I knew I was good with the business, and I had a lot of amazing ideas, creative ideas. But I used to call myself V Diddy. So I thought I was going to start my own label, which one day I still plan to do, and make my own music eventually, you know? And it's funny because the eventually came faster than I thought. Um, I was called to be an artist, and God had to show me that in so many different ways. But I'm grateful for the revelation, and now I'm here, girl.
Yes, you are definitely just shining so bright with your work, and I love coming out to see you perform. And the projects that you've been dropping is just incredible. Please, you guys, go definitely to the links and download and listen to V.C.R. Her music is incredible. And watch her visuals as well. I love the work that you do as an artist, and I would want to know what advice would you even give creatives who want to make a career out of their gifts?
Buy my book, The Creative Black Women's Network. It's not just for women, it's for everybody. See yourself as worthy first. Work on that. On the mental awareness first.
I am worthy.
Because,
Let them
yeah, you're
know.
supposed to do it scared. Definitely do it scared. Do it fearful. Do it without knowing. But first, go within and do the work where you see yourself as worthy of what you are asking of the universe, asking of God. So when you walk into rooms, when you present yourself to opportunities, people people feel that. People feel that. So they'll give you more opportunities, and it'll help you along your path if you see yourself as worthy. 2, find someone, virtual or in person, that is a mentor, that can tell you about the business, that can tell you about steps, that can tell you how to move and how not to move, you know. And I'm saying do all this all while trying, you know. I think it goes without saying that you have to actively be making music, actively be recording, actively collaborating. But while you're doing that, while you do that actively, while you explore explore your mind, explore your creative being, your inner child, bring her up from the depths of your soul, because the world likes to push your inner child down.
Mm.
See yourself as worthy, find a mentor, learn as much as you can about the business, and create authentic relationships with people that are doing what you want to do ahead of you, and people that are running beside you.
I love that advice that you've given. And I want to know, how do you maintain your sound and your heart in this industry and a society that always puts us in like a box or tries to label us?
That worthiness piece is so important. When you see yourself as worthy of creative work, it's not how it sounds, even though excellence is key to ascension. But it's not about perfection. It's literally about creativity. It's literally about making music, making the art, making whatever you want to do. It's not about perfection. It's about learning your creative fingerprint and sticking there. At the beginning, learning to do as much as you can for yourself is an amazing blessing. So you're never left trying to figure out how to do it for yourself. If you know, if you already know, you're just going to do it. I think it's important to stick to your creative fingerprint. Your creative fingerprint is the unique way you express yourself creatively in whatever medium you're using. And your creative fingerprint usually comes from people that you were exposed to during your formative years. So birth to like infancy to 5 years old to seven, really 5 and 6 and 7 years old. Stick there. Stay in your lane. Ride it out.
And I definitely am learning and taking that in and downloading it myself while you share that with us. I want to know just even some of the moments that you feel the most empowered.
I feel the most empowered when I'm learning and when somebody is teaching me something I don't know. I am such a digger, a learning. I always want to know what's under the surface. I want to know, like, I never really take what is given to me. I have to check it out for myself. And when someone is teaching me and it's making sense and I'm truly encoding, I feel so powerful. I also feel powerful on the stage. I feel powerful. I feel powerful on the stage. I feel powerful when I'm being listened to, not necessarily validated, because I don't need that validation. But when I'm truly being listened to in creative spaces, um, and I actually, fun facts, I feel very powerful when I cook and people are eating my food and they really like it.
Oh, I love that. I've been loving to cook some new vegan dishes and vegetarian dishes for myself as I explore this new facets of life for myself. And I can't wait to try some of your food and come over and dig in with you.
I'm
Um,
glad that you told me you was vegetarian vegan, so I can know exactly what to make.
yes, I know I dig into pescatarian. I will say like sporadically throughout the week. I won't consume it too much. But I will eat my fish and my good old salmon sometimes when I'm just feeling, just a little low on the iron side.
Right.
But I love how we can be empowered through our foods. And I want to know who or what empowers you to create, influence, and be fruitful.
What inspires me to be creative and fruitful, I would say first is intrinsic. I mean, to do anything creative, it has to be intrinsic. You know, you can be prompted or like asked to create on the outside, but it has to be you that wants to actually step out and do it. So I pat myself on the back and I say, it's definitely intrinsic first. Second, what inspires me is my family, and my future family. My family inspires me. Talking to my mom, conversations with my mom, conversations with my dad, my brother, my sister, my niece. Um, being inspired by them, knowing that it's my duty to give back to them. It's my duty to one day take care of them or make the world a little better place for them. It's my duty. Um, Everything that I go through inspires me to. Like, I feel like if life was easy, we would all be so bored.
Mm.
If being an artist was easy, it'd probably be boring. I'm such an adrenaline junkie, and the obstacles, they make me go harder. They make me fight, and I'm grateful for them.
What even helps you stay on track when it comes to like your long-term goals that you have for your life?
What makes me stay on track, I would say, I'm gonna put this in the best way possible. What makes me stay on track? I don't the thing about being an artist, you don't have anybody keeping you on track unless you have like a team, but I don't have that right now. It's just me. So I have to come back to that intrinsic motivation, that inner knowing, that inner motivation, that inner, like, everything's inner right now for me. And I'm grateful for that because I'm learning valuable skills, a valuable skill set. So when I do have the team, um, and things are a little bit more automatic, it's more of a machine. Um, I always remember why I'm doing this.
And with knowing your why and understanding, that you have yourself in this moment, in this time, how do you recharge and pour back into yourself as you produce art and empower even other Black women and creatives on a daily basis?
Could you ask the question one more time?
Yes, yes. So how do you recharge? How do
Mhm.
you pour back into yourself as you produce your art and you empower other creative Black women on a daily basis?
I think it goes without saying that you have to allow yourself to time to rest. But I think that we're coming out of a time of like excess productivity, um, brought by the industrial revolution, of the 20s, where like people were working 9, 10 hour days, in factories. And that's just what white people were doing, you know. Black people being slaves and having to work from sun up to sundown. I feel like that is dying, and people are realizing that you can rest. In fact, it makes it easier for you to do what you want to do when you do rest. So I do rest. I give myself one day out of the week just to do nothing. And if I feel like life is just knocking me upside my head, I turn everything off. The phone, the computer, the TV, the everything. No social media, no nothing. I immerse myself in myself. I go to my favorite restaurant. I go to see a movie. I'll drive an hour and 30 minutes to my aunt's house in San Diego or to West Covina. I go to the beach by myself. I just unplug because you have to in order to be truly productive.
I definitely agree with you 100% with being able to unplug. Um, and I feel like that's even a role for self-love.
Mm-hmm.
How does that even play an advancement in the empowering of Black women in the creative industry for us to truly unplug,
Mm-hmm.
to be our best selves and just to reflect before like empowering another Black woman to know that I'm charged up, like I'm activated. Like I'm activated now. Now I can activate the rest of the collective right?
Yeah.
So, what does even self-love mean to you? And I know you share some of your favorite self-love moments, which I can definitely agree with. I love going to the beach and putting like literally my feet into the sand, listening to the waves, just disconnecting, no electronics, just being with the
Uh,
nature. Um, so what does self-love to mean to you?
Self-love is the inner knowing that you will always have you. I think we forget that because we have a world where everything is outside of us. And sometimes everything feels so out of touch and out of reach. So we forget that we have us. I have myself. Self-love is acknowledging your light and your dark, the things that you love about yourself and the things that you really don't want nobody to see. But sometimes they see, and loving that. Self-love for me is knowing that you were created with a purpose. And so if you do mess up, you do fall down, you do have an obstacle, God is always going to take care of you. And you gonna always take care of you because God is inside of you. And
Yeah,
yeah,
well said. How are even, I know you shared just some of the things that you do for self-love and self-care, but how are some ways that you are being gentle with your mental?
I'm a perfectionist and am always thinking about the future. It's hard for me to just sit and be grateful for the present. And it's always the little things, you know? It's the little things. I allow myself to be grateful for the little things, celebrate the little things, whether it's, you know, me reaching like a different tiny milestone that nobody would know, only I know because it's something I prayed for. I celebrate that. Whether I have anybody to celebrate with, I celebrate that. I celebrate myself every day, you know.
I definitely love that. I think that can just be like on the phone. Can you make like a post and just celebrate yourself every day?
Every
Um,
day,
I
because life
definitely,
is a journey.
it really is.
Life is a
And
journey.
for this beautiful creative journey that you are on, what are some of the projects that we should be keeping an eye out for?
I have new music coming out in the form of an LP, and that's coming out soon. I'm really excited about that. I've been working on it for a long time. I have other art mediums and projects coming out soon. I'm excited about that. I have two shows coming up this next week. I'm playing a So Far Sounds concert, secret concert, and I'll be announcing that on Monday. By the time this comes out, it'll all be already be out. So, the next day I'm playing a girls' school show. It's called Idea Lab on futurism, and it'll be a 20-minute set. So I've just been my love language also to myself is to do everything that I say I'm going to do and to keep myself working towards those goals. So those are some things that you should be looking out for. More arts on the way.
Yes. Well, we are definitely rooting for you. And thank you so much, V, for spending the time with us here on Are You Being Gentle with Your Mental? We loved getting to know a little bit about you and how you love yourselves. as a Black woman who creates, leads, and inspires us all. You can connect with VCR or V on Instagram at V the Martian and stay updated on her upcoming works and her beautiful art. Please support. I also want to thank our listeners for tuning in, and I hope you leave with new insight and feel empowered to keep going. Whatever that looks like for you, just thank you for choosing to spend time with us today. And we'll see you shortly. In the meantime, I hope you are always to find yourselves to be gentle with your mental and be, let us please hear the last moment from you.
I want to say that if there is life, there is hope. So just know if you wake up, if you open your eyes, this is a new day. And if there's life, there's hope. And if you want to, stay involved with me, stay up to date with me, I have a love letter subscription list or a email list. It's 2 emails a month. Nah, I don't talk your ear off, but you'll know about everything that I'm doing in the community and in the world.
You guys, please subscribe. We'll leave everything that you need to know on how to connect with V in our show notes, but continue to also share this with somebody to also empower them. And we love you and sending light and peace.
My podcast now has merch. Begin each day with the Aura mug to remind yourself to connect with your senses. Take a mindful moment to check in with your mental thoughts, emotions, and or by asking yourself, are you being gentle with your mental? Which is featuring a unique design of hands protecting the divine energy of your brain. This mug empowers us to be kind with ourselves and others. Remember, we cannot pour from an empty cup. So may this cup always be filled with a flow of positive energy, and you can purchase yours today or gift somebody by going on my website, jessbeu.org, and go ahead and support the mindful communities that we're building together. Peace and love, y'all.